The more we talk to people, the more people are telling us, I know what the founder's trap is. It's like it's over and over and over again that
Hmm.
people have either heard of it or they're like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I feel. We had a podcast recently that did so well with that. So, we don't really talk about founder's trap that much because we're really talking about how we help successful people understand what's missing. But a lot of times for newer business owners, I'm talking those ones that are, 3 to 5 years in their business, they've had some success. The founder's trap is really the thing that they're like, holy shit, that's the problem I have. I am the best employee in my own company.
Hmm.
So it's just been interesting how many people, there was a carpet cleaning company we met the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, I saw that on your website. I know exactly what you're talking about." We were out at a lunch speaking to somebody, and they were like, "Yes, I've heard of the Founders Trap before. I think that's me."
Hmm.
That plumber. We met that plumber. He owns a
Yep.
plumbing franchise. He never heard of it, and we explained it. He's like, "Yes, this is it." We had a printer, like guy who owned a printing franchise. I think it was a Minuteman printer, and we explained it. And he's like, "Everything you're saying, that's me." And that's the problem, man, is you take all those skills, all that expertise, all this energy and effort, and you push it in and you build a successful company. But then it's like, shit, I'm doing everything. Now what do I do? And that's really the issue. It's now what do I do? And most people they think what's missing, because that's how you answer now what do I do? It's what's missing. Right? That's how you get to the next level of success. What is missing? And what they usually think is, oh, it's just this employee to do the thing that I hate doing. And that's never really it, right, Tom?
No, it's never that simple. There's always a deeper rooted issue, or there's something that, those are the simple, quick answers. They're the surface level answer, right?
Yeah.
They're what we used to say all the time is you're putting Band-Aid on something. You're not getting to the root cause of the infection. You gotta look and see and get rid of what's there. And what you realize, like we were working with one of our clients last night who's been in business for a long time, doing a lot of millions of dollars in revenue, but he's still in the founder's trap. He still is a company's best employee because he's only touched the surface and keeps slapping band-aids on top of it. And when he realized, I really don't have a good training program. I really don't have a good system of standard operating procedures. I don't have a way of bringing people in and being able to retain them because I don't know what to give them. There's still a lot of things that, because you're the best employee in your business is suffering in the things as you grow. And if you don't identify that, and the founder's trap is such an easy thing to identify. I mean, it's the easiest symptom in the book. It's like, if it smells like an appendix, it's probably your appendicitis, right? That's how simple it is to diagnose someone with the founder's trap, because they say, yeah, I'm just my company's best employee. But you're not scratching the deeper issue. You're just scratching the surface level, because that's all you have time for
Right.
in the founder's trap. Is you only have time to scratch the surface. You don't have time to dig into the weeds, go down 3 feet into the ground, see what's really there in all the layers, and pull out what needs to be removed or needs to be changed. And that is such a common symptom. So I think of the founder's trap very simply is when there's things going wrong in your business, you're your best employee, but you're only slapping band-aids on problems, and you're going for the quick fix instead of really going for the root cause of what's the problem.
Well, I even told one of our other clients today, he's having unfortunately an employee issue, and he's got to let somebody go, and that means he's got to let two people go in this issue.
Mhm.
And he hasn't had time to meet with us on our normally scheduled meeting. And Tom and I have been checking in with him. When I said to him today, we said, "Hey, are you okay?" He's like, "I'm good. I'm handling. I'm just working with the attorneys to figure out the documents and everything else. California laws are very different. They're like New York. A lot of tough things you have to go through." But when I asked him, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. I'm just it's attorneys and you just got to wait." And what I said to him is, I'm like, "Okay, but make sure when you're thinking about all the ancillary decisions now that come from this, that you're making long-term decisions and not solving short-term with solutions."
Mhm.
And that's the thing is when you can really be the CEO of your company and stop and really escape this founder's trap is when you start thinking about the big picture, when you start treating your company as the thing you have to care for, not just the thing you do. It's not, I don't just do the work here. I don't just make money from this. It's like, no, I have to take care of this thing for the long term. And the problem with that founder's trap, like Tom was saying, this other client who's making millions of dollars, has hundreds of employees. The issue is that he has remained in this founder's trap and tried to solve it with revenue and more work and these other things. And it's the same problem, except now it's deeper, right? It's almost like you got a cut on your arm, and instead of
Mhm.
solving it, it just got infected, and now it's getting worse and it's getting worse. And eventually you're gonna have to amputate that thing, right? And because the business may kill him, like physically kill him. Okay. Or it may mentally just exhaust him, and he won't be able to do these things anymore. And that's what we call burnout, folks. We've
Mhm.
all experienced burnout. But when you're running a business and you get to these levels of success, and like we say, success asks a different question, what's missing? When you get to these levels of success, you can rapidly deteriorate. You can be joyless, you could not know your children, you could not know yourself, you could lose your health. It's like you could lose your best clients, you could lose your way and why you even started building this thing. And that's really like when you can start identifying that and just ask this question, man. I'd love you to work with us, of course, but just ask yourself this question: what's really missing? Okay. Not what's the problem. The problem, fine. Like, you know the problem. Like, I'm doing too much work. I'm doing all these things. I don't want to answer the emails. I don't want to do the sales calls. I don't want to do lead gen. I don't want to have to handle payroll. I don't want to have to deal with the IRS and the accountant for this. I don't want to have to go and do all these things. I just want to do, and there's usually the one thing you want to do. Every business owner has that one special part that they just want to do that. For some, it's business development. For some, it's sitting behind a computer doing things. Others, it's strategy. Some people are just, I just want to work with the client. Everybody has their thing that they want to do. So let yourself do that and figure out what's missing so you can do that. And it's not magic, man. It just takes time, right? You're not going to solve the problem tomorrow. It takes time, the same way as you didn't create the problem overnight, right? When you first started your company, you were praying to God you'd have these problems, and now you do.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, great. But this is where now you have to be ready for the next level, right? Tom and I always say this thing is that you're constantly running two businesses, the business you're in and the business you're becoming. The problem is you've had your head down and built the business that you're in because you were like, wait, that's the business I'm becoming. But no, along this route, you became it. And you're like, wow, I'm generating revenue. I have all these good problems. Now what do I do? And you never gave yourself the chance to think about, okay, well, what's the next business we're becoming? And this is the thing, every successful business owner that we have worked with and successful person that we have worked with, they've realized like, okay, I've hit that next level. Now what's the next one? You're always evolving. You're always evolving. I don't care. Look at Tom's son. Tom's son, used to play Little League. And now congratulations, Andrew. If you're watching, he just won All County. I don't know if you say won.
Voted to all county. That's
Made
what I
All
think
County.
is,
He made
yeah,
All
made
County.
all county, voted to all county.
Right. So he made All County. Well, that's another level for him. Well, now he's achieved this level. He doesn't want to just do the same things next year to get All County again. No, he wants to be at the next level, whatever that may be. He wants to go to college and do these things. Maybe he wants to play professional baseball. Maybe after professional baseball, he wants to be a coach. Who knows? But there's always the next level.
Right.
And this is for
Right.
everything. This is for you being a parent. This is for you being a golfer. This is for you and your fitness. But it really resonates with business owners because it's very easy to see, right? The writing literally is on the wall of your P&L sheet and of your how much free time is on my calendar. You look at those two documents. I can look on my right now. There's my calendar. There's some white space, but it's starting to get less and less, which is what Tom and I wanted. Right? Yesterday we had 7 clients we had to meet with. That's great. But it was hard, right?
Yeah.
That's not a normal day because tomorrow I have the whole day off and I'm going on a boat trip with my daughter for her graduation. But it's like, okay, do you have that ability to take a Friday off? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. And if you look on the left over here, it's the P&L. Well, is the cash flow going? Because man, if you're not focused on the business you're in, you're going to lose that cash flow. And if you're not focused on the business you're going to become, you're going to get trapped. And this is the magic sauce that you have to figure out as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Well, there's so many things that you just said in there, and so many business owners, when they are the employee only, they also come from this place of a lack mindset, right? And lack and missing is two different things. And what you have to realize is lack, it was never there. Missing, it may have been once there, but now it's gone, and now you got to bring it back, or you have to resurrect it in a different way. And we focus so much on the lack mindset as a new business owner. You have to focus on what's missing mindset, because there is that constant, the dissatisfaction drives it, right? You identify what's missing because it's dissatisfaction. Like, take my son, for example. Yeah, he set out at the beginning of the season, his goal was to hit over 400 and to make all county. Well, he did that. He set that goal. And he was happy for the moments that he found out that he was all county, and now it's back to the grind. It's he's dissatisfied because he wants to get to that next level, and the thing that's missing for him is that college commitment. He's not committed yet to the college. So that's the next level that we have to continue to raise to. But if we only focus, if we looked at what's lacking, we would be looking at skill and other things. But when we look at what's missing, is just the next step is missing for him so that he can put together everything that he's worked towards. And now, once that comes into play, he can assume that next level and train for that level at a whole different pace than he's training at that level right now, because for him, it's still missing. If it was there, he would approach it very differently. And that's what business owners have to do is you have to look at what your business is becoming, because then you don't slap band-aids on things. You do look at what the root causes are so it never happens again, and you prevent it from happening so that you can then build that business that you are becoming with the right ingredients and the lessons learned from the business you're currently in. And that's really such an important piece of it, is that when that wound and that cut festers, it only gets worse. And like you said before, you have to amputate it. You will destroy your whole business if you just keep slapping band-aids on it. If you look at what, okay, this is what the healed arm looks like, and I want it to be that muscular, and I want it to be that tan, or I want it to be a certain way, then you can say, do all the work that's needed to become what that image looks like for you. And when you don't have the time because you're stuck in the founder's trap, you don't think about what it really could become. I mean, I'm thinking of our client yesterday who has 4 different businesses really within one business. He's doing several $1,000,000, but he could be doing twice, 3 times that if he really, instead of just starting these other businesses in the middle, just looked at what's the big picture I'm trying to get out of all of this. And that's where we're bringing him to the next level now. And it really brought him some relief yesterday just to talk it through.
Yeah.
But if you don't talk it through, you're not going to identify the business you're becoming.
Well, not only on that client and clients like that, is it like, okay, if you would look at the whole enterprise, you could probably build the big thing and not just the next aside thing. But you could build that thing to complement your life. And that's really what a lot of us will do is we'll build, as soon as we have some free time, as soon as one problem is solved, we automatically fill that time with a new task. And most of the time, I know I've been guilty of this, most of the time it's what's immediate, not what's big picture. It's what the business we're in or the project we're doing now, not the thing we want to become. And if we were able to step back with that new freed up time or new freed up revenue availability for investment and say, okay, what am I building, right? What is this next thing I'm building? And how, no matter what it is, whether it's baseball or becoming a Grammy winning artist, or getting to be a Formula One race car driver, or if it's going to be open up a bigger business, whatever it is, how does this now complement my life? We have another person that we work with, and he's had an unfortunate few months where he's separated from a longtime girlfriend, and it was obviously painful, right? It's going to be painful, but it was necessary. It was mutual. And what happened is now he's like, well, I'm moving out of the house. I don't really have a place to live. And this was the first time that he now can really say, well, what is it that I want to live in? What kind of house? What kind of place? What kind of location? What kind of geography? What is my setup going to look like? And it was like, instead of just quickly renting an apartment, right? Because that's what most of us would do, quickly get an apartment or buy another house or do whatever it is. It's like, hey, there are other options to explore. And this gentleman, he's staying with a friend for a brief period of time, and then he's literally going to be a nomad. Now his job allows for that. It allows for him to travel around the globe, but now he gets to experience. And when he's in this, he gets to think, well, what is the next, let's call it decade? What does the next decade of my life want to look like in the way that I live? And I mean, who knows? He may leave California.
Mm-hmm.
He may find that he loves California. He may find the things about that home he had was like, man, I really want to recreate that. And he may find other things and like, why did I have that? It was kind of useless for the way that I live. And these things, this is what we're talking about. So it's not only in your business, it's
Right.
also in your life. It's like, why do I do the things that I do? And what is the next level of what I want and what's missing so I can figure out how do I work on that? And the moment you
Because
start working on that, you're striving towards success. That's it. And then you have that moment, you achieve it. And that's it, by the way. It's a moment. It's one tiny little moment that you have success. And then you transition right into happiness. And happiness is very simple. Happiness is when nothing is missing.
mhm,
And that may last for a moment, that may last for a decade, because at a certain point, something's going to be missing again. And now you're dissatisfied and you get to go do it all over again and have success again, but not the same success. You get to have a new kind of success. And that's really what it's about. It's about redefining what success even means to you now. Okay. Whether that's the type of house we have, the type of college we go to, the type of business we're involved with, the type of free time we have once we have that business up and running. And this is really, it's a magical thing that Tom and I get to do with people, to give them almost like a pair of glasses and they see for the first time. It's a crazy opportunity that Tom and I have to really change people's worlds. So for you listening to this, we recently got a client because of this podcast. So because you are listening to this, it's on the platforms going out to the more people. So we really appreciate it. So if you do watch this, if you could like it and subscribe it, maybe share it with somebody else. That's at a bare minimum. If you could do that, it really does help us. You'd be surprised how this can go out to other people just because of what you've done, just because of your like, your share, your subscribe. So we thank you for that. Hope this was interesting. It was just on our mind. No clue what we'll be talking about next. See ya.